Hi, folks. It's probably been a couple of weeks, I think, since my last video. Um, this is more. I haven't made a ton of progress here because the stuff I'm working on right now is pretty slow and tedious. So this is more of, I guess, a process report instead of a progress report, or a combination of the two. So I have been working. I finished under here pretty much the way it's going to get. I mean, this is the extent it's going to get finished. I put a light up close to the frame and found out that it needed a little more paint, so I put some more paint on the frame. Finished that area up there where the patch went for the upper shock mount. And I also, getting in the light here, I also went over these areas. Here, I can show you better on this side. There's a little more light. Also went over these areas, the wheel well area, and up under here, behind the wheel well. Again, around the frame, I went over the whole frame, the part that I've painted so far. Like I said, this wheel well, I did learn something while I was doing all of this. I suspected from working in the trunk that this quarter panel may have been changed in this car's history, and now I'm even more sure of it, because if you look at this wheel well, and I don't know if there's enough light here for you to see it. If you look at this wheel well, it's undercoated. The whole wheel well opening, including the inside of the quarter panel, is undercoated, which is something I remember when I was younger. My dad would always do that whenever he bought a new car. He'd pay the dealer to undercoat the car. Well, this side, that I suspect the quarter panel's been changed, is smooth. There is no undercoating, so that even makes it even more certain, and it adds another layer or whatever of evidence. And along the pinch weld on the rocker panel, it's not spot welded. It's like electric welded, either MIG or TIG or something. The bottom, you can see the bottom is all welded together instead of spots. So, like I said, up it goes. The pinch weld starts again right here. You can see the spot welds. So anyway, the bottom is about done as far as the painting is concerned. The next step now is I'm going to put the gas tank back in, and I want to refinish that too. It's got a coat of paint on it. When I had it boiled out, right after I first got the car, the radiator shop put some paint on it. I think I might have went over it too with some Rust-Oleum of some sort. So I'm going to clean that up a bit, make sure it's got a good coat of paint on it. And the filler pipe, half of that's upstairs on the loft, half of it is right here. You notice here this is all smoothed out, it's all sanded and stuff, because this is the locator piece. This fastens where you open the little door in the fin to fill up the gas. This is where you find this. And this is the locating piece there. There's 4 sheet metal screws that fasten this in that area. Well, this piece, I don't know if it was spot welded originally or how it was attached, but it's no longer attached. It's on the pipe, but it's not attached. So I'm going to have my son put some tacks on these little leaves. I'll probably have him put a tack. Right now I have it set. I've got a little scribe for the location of it. I've got it set where it goes, because it kind of locates the pipe as it goes down out of the fin. And I bead blasted this, so I'm going to paint that. Once I get the little tacks on that piece, that'll get painted. The other half of that, the part that actually goes further down, there's a hose that goes on the bottom of this, and then there's another piece that leads it most of the way to the tank, and then there's another piece of hose actually going to the tank, as well as the vent. The vent has a little hose that connects with the vent coming out of the tank. So anyway, that's the bottom side. I'll lower the car and I'll show you what's going on inside. I'm trying to get past the rest of the paint prep in the backside and the inside of the car. I'm still going to have to do some more underneath from that backside going forward up to the firewall, but that's going to happen later. We're gonna build an exhaust system and stuff like that, and then all of this hardware will go out of the car, and then I'll finish painting the bottom. But at any rate, I'll lower the car and I'll show you what's going on inside. Okay, so I got the car lowered. So you see here, not only am I working on the car, but I'm kind of trying to organize things around here. And I'm trying to set up these bins that my nephew gave me. So what I'm finding is doing this metal work requires a lot of this stuff. This metal with these discs, the roll lock discs work really nice. These fiber discs, like a Scotch-Brite pad kind of thing, they work very nice. So I've been buying and organizing or whatever this stuff. Went to the weld shop the other day and bought a bunch of these sanding discs, and 2-inch and a 3-inch, and some flapper discs for the 4.5-inch grinder, and some cutoff wheels for the die grinder. It was like $130. Stuff gets pretty pricey. Oh, and I've gotten more paint to prepare for additional painting that's going to happen. Anyway, you see this is all scuffed, and we're going to do a little more metal work in here. I don't know if you can see it, but over here in this corner, this is where it looks like they did some body work. They used one of those puller things when the quarter panel was off, when this car was rear-ended or something. So we're going to fill those. You notice I got the paint completely gone. We're going to fill those. And it's all scuffed because I'm going to make it black. I'm going to probably use the same paint I'm using underneath. That is kind of a trim paint that GM uses, or I understand it's just like what GM uses. So I think I'm going to do that in here. I'll do a nice tape line around the trunk opening, kind of where you see the green tape on there. Now I have to redo some of this taping, masking anyway. You see it's getting all full of holes. This stuff is super thin, and when you start relating, working around it or whatever, you just wears through. So I got to go over some of it before I do any painting. But this, as you can see, this took a while. It's all scuffed. The paint that's there now is nice and solid. It should have a good tooth. I'll put some kind of primer on it. I think I'll use self-etching where it's bare, and then probably go over the whole thing with a regular primer that's not like a primer surfacer, and then put a top coat on it. So this area, like I said, is all scuffed, and you can see where it's not flat. So most of it has to be done by hand. It's too many beads and stuff. I guess these big panels, they want to strengthen them, so they put all these bead designs in it to stiffen it up. And inside, again, I'm trying to get past all this cleaning that, so I can say the cleaning part of it is done. Under the back seat, it all looked like this side does now. That is a real thick, whatever that material is, it's very thick. I think it's probably a sound deadening. It's, like I said, it's not an undercoating because it's smooth, but it's thick, it's heavy, and it doesn't come off easy. You see, this side's done. I probably spent 3 hours in here yesterday doing that side with that knotted wire wheel and a 5-in-1 paint scraper. I found that if I kind of sharpen that and I go over this with the paint scraper, I can take a lot of that material off, and then it's just a matter of finish cleaning it with the wire wheel. So I'm trying to get this so it all looks like that. And then again, once again, I'll use a self-etching primer on the bare stuff, and I'll probably put a coat of primer surfacer over that, because like I say, I've learned that you're not supposed to go over the self-etching primer directly with a top coat. And the other thing that got done since I saw you last, excuse me, it's kind of hard crawling around in here, is this package tray got fixed. You see the panel, the patch panel in there, and the patch panel in there. I'll show you the pieces that came out of there. Somebody had put speakers in there, I guess. And it looks like they got in here with an axe and a drill and a can opener and a pair of pliers and anything else they could find to make a hole that the speaker would lay in. And I'll show you that. But anyway, what I did with these is I cut them out. I made the shape of the I got rid of the odd shape as close as I could get to it. That's the smallest I could make these patches. And then I got some metal, and I got one of those flanging tools at Harbor Freight, which I had to return because it worked for about 20 crimps and then it quit. And I got another one, and anyway, and it worked. The second one worked fine. So I flanged the patch panels so they're at least semi-flush on the top. And I put some seam sealer all around the edge, and I put them up there and propped them up from underneath and drilled through them for all the pop rivets. I had drilled the patch panel first, the flanged panel first. So I had pilot holes where all the rivets were going to go. So like I said, I put the seam sealer up there. I kind of held it in place. I propped it up with a stick from underneath, and then I drilled the rest of the holes and put the pop rivets in. So it isn't that pretty, and we didn't go to the trouble to weld it, but when the package tray is on top of it, which it was on top of those butchered holes too, and you couldn't tell. So it's a whole lot better than it used to be. Now, let me show you these pieces that I took out. You'll laugh. You will laugh. Like I said, it's not easy getting in and out of here for somebody that's my age. Okay, here we go. These are the pieces that I took out of those two patches. So they were sitting this way. I think this one was the left and this one was the right. That's what those pieces looked like. You can see, like I said, they used everything from a drill, probably a pair of tin snips, and they weren't able to fit. Yeah, you can see some of this has the little sharp edges that are left from the tin snips. And a pair of pliers, they bent it, they cut it, they drilled it. What a mess. Anyway, there was no way that I was going to leave that. So I didn't. It's done. Anyway, that's where we're at. I sandblasted that. That's a little thing my son bought. He's got an LS motor, and that's some kind of a stand that he bought for that, and the paint was not stuck on it very well. So while I was sandblasting that, I did that too, bead blasting or whatever. It's not actually bead blasting. It's got garnet for a grit in there, but same difference. Anyway, so much for now. Talk to you when I got more to show. Later. Bye. Thanks for watching.